For about 9 years, a climate of violence plagued the streets of Belize City. Rival gangs faced off in violent confrontations, chopping, shooting and maiming each other. But no sooner were these offenders arrested, charged and convicted, were they back on the streets again. A bit over a year ago, when society could no longer bear the effects of that revolving door, Minister of National Security Dean Barrow, the police and other concerned citizens started pushing for a gang truce. It was only after the Bird's Eye Declaration that the Conscious Youth Development Program arose. Now in its first anniversary, the CYDP is taking a look back.
The main problem has been resources and never having enough resource to try to accomplish the magnitude of the responsibility that we have at CYDP. I think what concerns us, though, is a certain amount of cynicism that some people tend to have in regards to the program and individuals involved in the program. Cynical in the sense that they criticize without giving suggestions of how to improve. They tear down instead of recognizing that we don't yet have another alternative. They tend to castigate or cast aspersions about people's qualification for doing this and how we know this one could do that, etc.
At the time of its inception, CYDP's primary focus was to stop the violence and maintain peace. But as the operations moved along, the program's director, Edward Broster, and coordinator, Nouri Muhammad, realized they had a much bigger problem on their hands.
The issue was mainly one of human development. The youths had turned to gangs and violence as a result of family deterioration, growing poverty, lack of education, and the return of deported Belizean youths who were gang members in the U.S. Even though a sizable amount of CYDP's staff time is still spent on conflict resolution, the program has been able to start up several activities. Quite coincidentally, right about the time of the truce, the government was preparing to launch an infrastructure project for the city. The youths once involved in gangs were given the opportunity to work on building sidewalks for the city's pedestrians. Evan Welch is the foreman of the Victoria Street worksite.
It's a part of socialism. You know, you have to know to socialize because each of these individuals, as you know, they have a different mentality. So you got to deal with each differently and still let it come to one. You can't go too far. If you find yourself going like that, you got to cool your own self down, take a time out, and then you get back to it. Because these guys, there are certain ways to deal with it. You can't just deal with it, deal with these guys as well as deal with the other youngsters in the street. You need more patience.
While Mohammed realizes that he needs patience to work with these young men, he also thinks they need to learn how society works.
The way in which CYDP approaches this program is to not merely have these young brothers come out and work on the street, but rather we have a whole training program which includes life management skills, rap sessions where they could in fact talk about issues that concern them on the job as well as issues concerning them in life in general.
But as the program tries to give these young adults a new lesson in life, people were afraid to have them in their neighborhoods. The popular belief was that these guys would erupt into fights and disturb the neighbors.
Today, that view has changed. The biggest complaint from one Victoria Street businesswoman was her wish to see the work completed quickly, because her customers cannot find parking while all that material is on the street. A little further down the road, proprietor of El Safiro Jewelry Store had this to say.
Well, no, because they behave good and they respect and they will do their work, and it was a long. It's true they're young and so on, and they're very, active, and that's all more or less, and they're very happy working because they sing and
Although it may be safe to say that this portion of the program has been successful, it can only afford to hire 40 men. Javier Zaragoza, an employee of the project, expressed his gratitude for the job, but did not forget what it was like to be unemployed.
I see that's something nice, you know, because then you talk to the right people at the right time. You're doing things at the right time, showing the society that you are not what you used to be or what they think that you are, you know? Because then the society always put you down. They never try like big up the youth and make the youth think that they're not something. They got a lot of youth who need help too. They need a job too and something to survive, see? So they got to help all the youth, not only me, I talk to all.
And while the program cannot afford to hire all, through cooperation with other agencies, CYDP has been able to set up other projects, such as the fishing expedition, which currently hires about 5 youths, the Center for Employment Training Program, and the literacy and nutrition programs, which currently operate out of the Secretariat. A dozen young men and women ages 12 to 18 attend reading, writing, and arithmetic classes 4 days a week for a couple hours. And while the program is not to award them a diploma, it is geared to make them, at the very least, literate.
It's difficult only in the sense that we have a floating kind of class. Some of the boys, while they're in class, are either called out or get some message that a job is available and off they go. The second difficulty is with comprehension. Sometimes they are asked to respond to something that the writer in the particular passage is saying, but they have difficulty in accepting that what he is saying is what really is. And they always want to inject their experiences into what's being said.
Yeah, so much subject that I've done in school already, and I haven't forget them. I don't know if they're going to make us finish high school in this class, but if I was to go to high school, I'd probably go.
While Belgrave is able to attend these classes, the nutrition program feeds children who attend regular primary schools, but whose economic situation at home may not be able to provide a hot meal at lunchtime. Through a $20,000 donation from the Janus Foundation, CYDP is able to feed 25 youngsters every noontime. Gabrielle Wolensack is the vice president of that foundation.
That's because Janus in Germany and Switzerland has certain contacts and with people who are willing to fund projects like this. So from our opinion, it is very important that the kids stay in school, and the nutrition program is working in this direction because a lot of children don't have meals in the morning. They go to school, they have a starving feeling, and they leave school again to try to get their meals together, bag or whatever other business. And so the nutrition program is actually giving them a chance to stay in school, they get their education and get a chance for the future.
While this program is making baby steps at giving these youths a chance at the future, its resources remain heavily taxed. The hope is that in the months to come, the CYDP Secretariat will receive a bigger and better equipped facility. Deidre Isaacs for News 5.